You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report Scoreboard Show, podcast number 251.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, like your daily audio sports section every single weekday at 1.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you for spending part of your day with us. Today is April 30th, 2025. Happy birthday to my man, Jeff Hester. It's a Wednesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports, coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. That's why you may hear some background noise. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, the Pacers had one of their most dramatic wins in franchise history. A big night in CIC baseball, softball, and track and field. Some championships up for grabs for Taylor and Indiana Wesleyans in the Crossroads League. And, of course, the best news and notes section in all of Central Indiana sports podcasting. But before we get to all that, I'm going to ask you to please go to our YouTube page. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It is easy to find, and subscribe for us. We would really, really appreciate that, and it would help an awful lot. Also, Mike Rich and Will Rutherford, along with Mike Hutzel, Cody Emerson, and guest Sam Frick, reacted to the Pacers' dramatic Game 5 win against the Bucks on Tuesday night. And we'll have a Colts report, a draft breakdown with Eli Edwards sometime very soon, I'm guessing tomorrow morning. Your Indiana Pacers overcame an early 33-13 deficit and trailed late in regulation and in overtime for one of the most dramatic playoff victories in Pacers history on Tuesday night. Indiana trailed the Bucks 103-99 with just over a minute remaining in regulation, but Tyrese Halliburton scored the Pacers' final 6 points and had a dunk with 10 seconds left to send the game into overtime. In overtime, Milwaukee led 118-111 with 40 seconds left. No team in NBA history had ever erased that big of a margin with that little time left in a playoff game. But Andrew Nembhard's three started an 8-0 Pacers run that gave them the win and sent the Pacers into the Eastern Conference semis. After Nembhard's three, Halliburton converted a three-point play to get the Pacers within a point. Then Gary Trent Jr., who had his second 30-point game in the series after none all season, lost the ball out of bounds, giving Halliburton and the Pacers a chance. Then they took advantage of it. Halliburton beat Giannis off the dribble and converted a layup with 1.3 seconds left. Milwaukee didn't get a good shot at the buzzer.
Trying to make plays. I mean, that's a matchup. I like my speed there. I like being able to get around. He had 5 fouls, so we just tried to put him in the action for the majority of overtime. Try to attack him, see if he would pick up his sixth. He didn't, and I just tried to make shots down the end. But I thought we did a great job of keeping our spacing and just guys making plays when they had to, and that's what it's about.
There were so many heroes for the Pacers. Their starting guards, Halliburton and Andrew Nembhard, combined for 41 points, 15 assists, and 11 rebounds, and backup point guard T.J. McConnell had 18 points off the bench. Miles Turner had 21 points and 9 boards, and Aaron Nesmith finished with 19 points and 12 rebounds and made several key big plays down the stretch of regulation and overtime. But it was Halliburton who was the hero of heroes on this night. Reminded Coach Rick Carlisle a lot of Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to belief in himself, Tyrese has an iron will. He works extremely hard on what he does. He works extremely hard on his craft, his skill. He's unafraid. He reminds me a lot of Reggie. This game will go down as one of the all-time great Pacer wins because of the circumstances in overtime and what was on the line. And Ty obviously authored, a big part of this ending. So congratulations to him. The Netflix people are driving me nuts. They're everywhere. and it's a pain in the ass, but when a guy like that can rise to the moment with a microphone on and cameras following him all over the place, it's pretty amazing.
Trent finished with 33 points and averaged 23.5 for the series. Giannis finished with 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 12 assists. Thank goodness he's behind us. Good chance it's the last time we ever see him in a Bucks uniform. That franchise is in bad shape despite having one of the league's best 3 players. The Pacers now face top seed Cleveland in the East Semi starting Sunday. Start time has not yet been decided. The Pacers and Cavs split 4 games of the season, both going 1-1 on each other's floors. TJ McConnell said it's going to be quite the challenge.
I mean, I think they were the second best team in the league this year. So, the way they played against Miami, it's going to take focus, energy, commitment on both sides of the ball for 48 minutes, and we have to be extremely locked in.
Again, immediately following the game, we shared our reactions, the entire panel of the game. The Celtics also eliminated Orlando 120-89 in Game 5 in Boston. The defending world champions trailed 53-48 with 10 minutes left in the third before outscoring the Magic 35-9 the rest of the quarter. Jason Tatum had 35 points and Jaylen Brown 23 for Boston. The Celtics will play either the Knicks or Pistons in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Detroit staved off elimination with a 106-103 win at Madison Square Garden Tuesday. Cade Cunningham had 24 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in the win. Game 6 is 7:30 Thursday. The Nuggets pounded the Clippers 131-115 in Game 5 in Denver behind Jamal Murray's 43-point performance. Nikola Jokic had a triple-double of 13 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. The Nuggets now lead 3-2 heading to Los Angeles on Thursday at 10. 2 games Wednesday, both in the West at 7:30. The Warriors will try to end the Rockets' amazing season in Houston. Then the Timberwolves will try to end the Lakers' season in LA. Both Golden State and Minnesota hold 3-1 playoff series edges. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes are in the Eastern Conference semis after Sebastian Aho's game winner in double overtime that gave the Hurricanes a 5-4 win over the Devils Tuesday in Game 5. The Senators extended their series with the Maple Leafs with a 4-0 win in Game 5. Linus Ullmark stopped all 29 shots that he faced, but Toronto still leads the series 3-2. Vegas staved off elimination at home with a 3-2 win over the Wild in overtime. Brett Howden scored his 3rd goal of the playoffs in overtime in the Game 5 victory. And the Oilers took a 3-2 lead in their series against the Kings in Los Angeles with a 3-1 victory with 2 goals in the 3rd period. There are 3 more games Wednesday in the East. Washington and Florida will try to end their first-round series. The Capitals are up 3-1 on the Canadiens and host Game 5. Tampa leads the Panthers 3-1 and hosts Game 5 as well. The final game Wednesday is St. Louis at Winnipeg. That series is tied 2-2. Carson Kelly hit his 7th home run of the season and drove in 3 runs, and the Cubs beat Pittsburgh 9-0 to improve to 18-12, good for first place in the National League Central. The Reds and Cardinals in Cincinnati were rained out. The Cubs lead the Reds by a 1.5 atop the NL Central. And the New York Yankees became the first team in Major League Baseball history to open a game with home runs from their first 3 batters more than once in a season. On Tuesday, when Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, and Ben Rice all went deep against Baltimore's Kyle Gibson, and the Yankees' 15-3 win. And the Phillies beat the Nationals 7-6 on a walk-off wild pitch. Some news and notes. Justin Olam is the new head basketball coach at Yorktown. He was approved by the school board Tuesday evening. Olam replaces Matt Moulton after successful stints at Monroe Central and Muncie Central. Former Frankton baseball star Braden Douglas announced on Twitter that he'll transfer from Vincennes to IUK after his junior college eligibility expires at the end of the spring. Pendleton Heights star Ada Hupfer, a sophomore, was offered a scholarship by the Naval Academy to play basketball in Annapolis. To local high school sports, we start on the softball field. New number 1 Alexandria is now the only unbeaten team in the CIC after a big 7-5 win over 6th-ranked Madison Grant. Riley Thomas had a double, a triple, scored twice, and drove in 3 for the 9-0 Tigers. Olivia Dunham had a couple of doubles and 2 RBIs for 9-3 Madison Grant. Oak Hill scored 6 times in the 6th and beat Frankton 8-6 for a big CIC win. Lex Myers drove in 3 and Maddie Archer scored twice for the 6-3 Golden Eagles. Mrs. Sinawah scored 7 first-inning runs and improved to 8-2 with a 14-1 victory over Elwood. Lila Greer threw a complete game for the win and went 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs on offense. It was the CIC opener for the Indians. Eastbrook and Blackford are both 1-1 in the CIC after the Panthers' 12-1 win Tuesday. Randy Casto allowed just 5 hits and struck out 9, and Gracie Elliott had another big night at the plate, going 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. LaPel is 12-3 after pounding Mount Vernon 11-1. Ava Everman drove in 3. Paige Stiers, Tatum Harper, and Malia Nunn all scored twice, and Harper homered and had 2 RBIs. Addison Bodenhorn and Carly Jannings allowed just 1 run on 5 hits with 8 combined strikeouts. Hamilton High scored 6 of its 7 innings and beat Northwestern 12-3. Heather Craze and Mackenzie Jackson each had 3 hits and 2 RBIs for the 9-5 Huskies. Cameron Roten hit a home run and a double and scored 3 times. Kylie Miller threw a 2-hit shutout and struck out 10 in Western's 4-0 win over Logansport. Jocelyn Jeffers went 2 for 3 with a double. She drove in 3 of the Panthers' 4 runs. Western is now 13-2 and 4-1 in the Hoosier Conference. The loss was 9-2 Logansport's first conference defeat. Pendleton Heights scored 10 times in the first and even its record at 8-8 with an 18-5 win over Kokomo. Kaylee Smith led the Arabians with a 3-for-4, 5 RBI performance. She had a double and 2 home runs in the win. Cassie Hayes and Avery Miller both drove in 3 runs. Cowan scored 4 times in the first and beat Marion 9-2. Savannah Hall allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits and also scored twice herself for the 5-7 Blackhawks. Delphi had 4 straight hits in the 7th inning and scored twice to beat Eastern 9-8 in a Hoosier Heartland contest. Sammy Leopard's single tied it, and then Jenna Roth's single brought home Kylan Spitznagel with the game-winning run. Maddie Stevens went 3 for 4 with a double and a triple for the Comets. Carroll is 7-3 after beating winless Taylor 19-0. Charlotte Kingery allowed just 2 hits and struck out 8. Shenandoah is 4-0 in the MEC after a big 10-0 win over Daleville. Olivia Watson threw a 1-hit shutout, and 5 different Shenandoah batters had multiple hits. The Raiders are now 8-2 overall, and Daleville is 8-3 with all 3 losses in conference. Wapahani got its first win of the year 6-3 at Monroe Central after scoring 5 runs in the first inning. Some other scores of interest: Hamilton Southeastern beat Fisher 6-0 in the Mud Sock game. Westfield beat Noblesville 7-6. It was Guerin 16, Lafayette Central Catholic 0. Clinton Prairie beat West Lafayette 6-5. It was North Miami 21, Triton 1, and Maconaquah 9, Caston 5. To baseball, Bryson Martin drove in 3 runs to help Madison Grant to a key 7-4 CIC win over rival Alexandria. Luke Gilman tripled and scored twice, and Xavier Yagi had an RBI double for the 8-4 Argyles. Mason Fuller had 2 hits, and Jackson Brizendine an RBI double for Alexandria. Oak Hill beat Frankton 14-8 with 15 singles and a Trenner Boswell home run. Boswell, Ryan Lawson, and Noah Thompson all had 3 RBIs. Oak Hill's now 7-7. Frankton is 3-5. Both are 1-1 in the CIC. Kellen Rock drove in 4 and scored twice to help Mrs. Sinawah beat Elwood 16-6 in the Indian CIC opener. Jace Reese had 2 RBIs, and A.J. Flanagan tripled and scored for Elwood. Eastbrook moved to the top of the CIC standings with a 6-2 win over Blackford. Carter Doherty homered twice for the 9-5 Panthers, who've won 4 in a row. LaPel moved to 12-1 on the season with a 10-7 win over University at home. Quaid Hall had a double and RBI and scored twice for the Bulldogs. Nick Hewlin had a 2 RBI single in Hamilton Heights' 3-run 5th, and the Huskies beat Logansport 3-0. Hewlin also threw a 2-hit shutout and struck out 13 berries. Heights is 5-8 after their first Hoosier Conference win. Anderson improved to 7-5 and 3-0 in the NCC Tuesday with a 9-3 win at Marion. Caden Kendall allowed just one hit in 4 1/3 innings, and Kie Von Burt had a double and 4 RBIs for Anderson. Caleb Richardson had 2 RBIs for winless Marion. Kokomo is 8-4 after Tuesday's 3-2 win over McCutcheon. Jonathan Fry was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. JJ Gillespie was 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. And Brighton Harris threw a complete game for the win. Pendleton Heights took its first loss of the season, 7-5 at Mount Vernon in the Hoosier Heritage. The score was 2-2 after 5.5 innings before Mount Vernon scored 5 times in the 6th. The Arabians are now 10-1 overall, 6-1 in the HHC. Palmer Jones and Ryan Burkholder completed a 2-hit shutout in Yorktown's 7-0 HHC win over Newcastle. Jones struck out 8 in 5 shutout innings. Aiden Witt had a triple and 3 RBIs in the win for the 6-7 Tigers. Gavin Reed, Wes Bailey, and Dalton Jones combined for 6 hits, including 2 doubles and a triple, with 7 RBIs in Shelbyville's 7-2 win over Delta. Everett Lynn was 2 for 3 with a triple for 8-5 Delta. Delphi scored the game's first 7 runs and held off number 6 Eastern for a 9-6 Hoosier Heartland victory. It's the Comets' first conference loss. Carroll scored 17 times in the first 4 innings and beat winless Taylor 17-7. Wapahani improved to 9-4 overall and 4-1 in the Mid-Eastern with a big 6-4 win over Monroe Central. The Raiders scored 4 times in the 6th to take the lead for good. Eli Andrews was 2 for 3 with a triple and scored twice in the win. Shenandoah is 5-0 in the MEC after a 6-3 win over Daleville. The Raiders led 6-0 after 3 innings. Drew Fredenberg allowed just 1 earned run on 5 hits and had an RBI. Cowan scored 7 times in the 4th and beat Blue River 11-2. Gentry Groves was 3 for 3 with a double and a run and an RBI. And Luke Garrett drove in 3. And Jaden Ocker scored 3 times for the 7-4 Blackhawks. Bethesda Christian beat Anderson Prep 10-0. The Jets were held hitless. Some other scores: Heritage Christian 6, Garin 4. West Lafayette 8-0 over Benton Central. It was Harrison 8, Jeff 2, and Caston beat Southwood 12-2. We move to the local tracks where Frankton swept rivals Elwood and Alexandria in a 3-way meet Tuesday at Elwood. Alexandria was runner-up in both weight races, with the Tigers girls beating Elwood by a point for second place. 3 Eagles boys won multiple events. Owen Young won the 800 and 1600, Noah Melvin the high jump and the long jump, and Thaden Alexander won both hurdles races. Blaines Jones won both sprint events for Elwood, and Chelsea Newton won the 800 and 1600 for the Frankton girls, and the Eagles swept the relays. Oak Hill swept a 4-way meet with Blackford, Madison Grant, and Faith Christian on Tuesday. Oak Hill's boys won 6 events and had 7 runners-up. Individual Golden Eagle winners were Drew Elzinga, Lance Wyrick, Corbin Tippy, Kyle Brower, and Luke Elzinga. Oak Hill also won the 4x100 relay. The Golden Eagles girls had 7 winners, including Lexi Huber, who swept the hurdles events. She and Erica Newhouse went 1-2 in the 300 hurdles. Marion and Mississinawa split a dual meet Tuesday, with Marion's girls winning 80-46 and Mississinawa's boys winning 74-58. Mike Harrington won the 1600 and 3200 for the Giant boys, and Naomi Hahn won the high jump, the 200, and was part of the 1600-meter relay team for the Giant girls. 2 incredible team events at Northwestern Tuesday. The Northwestern girls edged Hamilton Heights and Maconaquah, both by 2 points. On the boys' side, Maconaquah beat Northwestern and Hamilton Heights, both by 3 points. Noblesville won the Pendleton Girls Invitational Tuesday, beating Hamilton Southeastern by 30 points for the title. Delta was 3rd, Pendleton 7th, and Anderson 9th. Pendleton Heights and Delta both had a pair of champions. Mia Bollinger won the 200 and Adelaide Zoller the high jump for the Eagles. And Ava Gerald took the 800 and Anya Zeller the 1600 for the Arabians. Delta's boys finished 4th at Tuesday's Miller Invitational at Noblesville. Mount Vernon won the event by 24 points over runner-up Hamilton Southeastern. Noblesville was 3rd. To the links, where Oak Hill beat Blackford 163-204 Tuesday at Arbor Trace. Trent Nelson was medalist with a 37, followed closely by teammate Carson Hess's 39 and Otto Nero's 42. Tri-Central edged Delphi 182 to 184 in a dual match at Tipton Municipal. Tanner England's 38 was medalist also for Tri-Central. Aiden Salisbury finished with his round in 45 shots. Jay Jankoviak 47 and Thomas Salisbury 52. Peru beat Marion 172 to 248 at the Marion Elks Club. Roman Daly led Marion with a 53 and Keith Shelton shot a 58. 11th ranked Pendleton Heights beat Delta by 7 strokes at Tuesday at Albany. Cooper Bratton shot a career high 37. Matt Boyle finished with a 39 and Griffin Wilson a 41 for the Eagles. Couple of local tennis matches. Frankton improved to 8-1 on the season with a 4-0 win over Tipton Tuesday. The Eagles won in straight sets at number 2 and 3 singles and both double spots, including Haley Harrison's and Addie Moore's 6-0, 6-0 win over Lily McCord and Emily Mumbauer at number 2 doubles. Lainey Hamaker and Kendall Coe were in the third set at number 1 singles, tied at 2-2 when the rain came and ended it. Eastern beat Carroll 4-1 in a Hoosier Heartland Conference matchup Tuesday. The Comets won at number 1 and number 2 singles, and in both doubles matches, Deanna Beachy won 10-5 in the third set tiebreaker at number 2 singles. The Comets are now 6-0 overall, 2-0 in the HHC. And Southwood beat Madison Grant 5-0. In college softball, Ball State won its 30th game of the year with a 5-2 win over Ohio in Athens. The Cardinals scored 3 times in the 7th on RBI singles from Kara Gunter and Ella Whitney. Brianna Severino threw a complete game and allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits. Taylor's season came to an end Tuesday with an 8-1 loss to Spring Arbor in the Crossroads League tournament in Upland. Crossroads champion Indiana Wesleyan opens its tournament at 5 o'clock Wednesday against either Spring Arbor or Huntington. The Cougars and Foresters play at noon. On the other half of the bracket, Mount Vernon Nazarene and St. Francis play at 10 a.m., with the winner getting conference runner-up Marion at 3. The Crossroads baseball tournament begins Wednesday. Taylor's the top seed and the favorite. League champion Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan both earned byes into Thursday's semifinals. And in college baseball, Purdue scored 5 times in the first inning and cooled off a sizzling hot Notre Dame team with a 5-2 victory at Alexander Field. Logan Sutter homered in the first. He had 3 hits, drew a walk, scored twice, and drove in 4 runs for the 26-18 Boilermakers. In college golf, Taylor's women overcame an 11-shot deficit after 2 of 3 rounds to win the Crossroads League Championship Tuesday at Otter Creek in Columbus. The Trojans were in 4th place after the first round and 3rd place after the second, but shot a 3:05 Tuesday to finish a shot ahead of runner-up Indiana Wesleyan. It's Taylor's 5th league title in 9 years. Shane Lim went 78-78-74 to finish runner-up to Indiana Wesleyan individual champion Caroline Gibson. Midway won the River States Championship Tuesday at Daniels, West Virginia. The Eagles led wire to wire and beat 2-time reigning champion Indiana East by 7 strokes. IUK finished 5th. Indiana East Jalen Bruns won the individual championship by 3 strokes over IUK's Haley Stegeman. And Ball State's men finished 2nd in the MAC championships, which concluded Tuesday at Pinnacle in Grove City, Ohio. It's the first time the Cardinals have finished in the top 2 3 straight years since 1978 through 80. Kent State won the team title, and the Flash's Jordan Gilkison went under par in all 3 rounds to win the individual conference championship. In men's tennis, Anderson's HCAC match against Earlham at Anderson High School is suspended due to rain. It will resume Thursday at Pendleton Heights Community Sports Center. And in women's lacrosse, Anderson won its 6th straight game, beating Spalding 9-6 behind 4 goals from Carmel's Avery Jaroskinski. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. Please share these podcasts with your friends and family if you'd like to help us out. We humbly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.